So joining me today is motorcycle racer Davey Todd. So Davey, how are you keeping? Staying fit and healthy throughout the lockdown anyway?
Yeah, absolutely. Just to be honest, that's pretty much all I've been doing is keeping fit and healthy and just training. Pretty much spending all my time training, mostly cycling. To be honest, really enjoying the cycling. So it's all good.
And so I'm kind of not really going in chronological order here, but this year is brilliant. You got the deal to ride with Honda over at the BSB. So that's kind of been keeping you sane, I suppose, with no road racing this year.
Yeah, absolutely. First of all, obviously a dream come true to sign for the Honda team anyway. Just it's something I think most racers sort of aspire to be with a team like Honda or Honda themselves. And yeah, it was the perfect scenario for me to be able to sign for those guys and sign for the BSB season as well as the roads. And obviously now with the roads been cancelled, I'm still getting some racing under my belt doing the BSB Superstock 1000 Championship.
And then just kind of bringing it back a little bit. So you started off racing at a young age, and you did motocross and supermoto, and then eventually onto the circuits. But kind of, I suppose, tell us how you got involved in racing, like from the start, I suppose.
Well, it was a long time ago. You know, I started riding motorbikes at 3 years old, and just sort of went from there. My dad was always into bikes, but never raced himself, and then got to 6 years old, the like legal age that you can get your race license, and went racing motocross at 6 years old, and loved it every day since, if not like more over the years. And you know, never fell out of love with it. Just loved every second of racing and sort of progressed through the motocross ranks. The reason I moved out of motocross when I was 15, 16, 17 years old, I had a real bad accident riding Supercross and shattered my leg pretty bad, messed it up. It's still full of metal now, but yeah, made a mess of that, and they were like, you know, if you mess it up again, we might be talking about amputating it. So it was like not really a good situation. So I thought then by changing over to riding on tarmac a little bit more is a way that I can get my racing fix and still be riding bikes and do it a bit safer, obviously. So then moved into Supermoto for a few years, which isn't really big enough to make a career out of Supermoto, but really enjoyed that, and it was a great middle ground to a great stepping stone to move over to sports bikes eventually. In 2015 was my first year riding a sports bike, jumped on a 600 and went racing that, and really loved that ever since I got on one. So it's pretty cool. I get to do a bit of everything now, I guess.
Yeah. You've been there. You've witnessed all disciplines of the sport at this stage.
Well, trying to get there. I keep spending a bit of time up at John McGuinness's place, and he's been getting me into Speedway. So I'm now really keen. I'm now really keen to have a go on a proper Speedway track. I've not had a go. We've been playing on Speedway bikes around his fields, and yeah, it's got me really interested in it, and I love a go, you know. Nobody tell the team boss though, because I don't think he'd be up for me doing that, but I'll get a go at some point, I think.
So coming then, so you just say there you started off then on the circuits 2015, what you said, and then progressed into road racing then was it the middle of the season in 2017? It was down here at Scary's, I think, wasn't it? It was,
that's the one.
Yeah. So I suppose how did kind of, you know, what was the deciding factor in changing over from the circuits to the road? Was it just kind of, you just wanted to try something new, or was that always the plan?
To be honest, I got into, as you say, in 2015 into the sports bikes and jumped on a 600, and then had a good year in 2015, moved on to BSB Superstock 600 in 2016. Had a good year, won a couple of races there, and sort of got set up for 17, another season at BSB, and everything went a bit sideways, I guess. Got messed around by a team, and as a lot of people do with things with teams in the paddock, it's a pretty savage industry, and things just went bottom up, I think. And there was a stage where I thought I might not be racing anymore. I'd sort of lost all my money. I'd quit my job because they wouldn't give me the time off to go racing, and just trying to make ends meet with stuff. But I managed to go in this time off after I'd lost my ride. Managed to go out to the Isle of Man TT. This was in 2017. Just to watch, just to see a few friends, and ended up meeting a few friends out there. I actually went out to work. I was meant to sell a bunch of insurance at the time, and I had no intention of actually doing that. When I got out there, I just wanted to enjoy the racing and everything. I ended up sleeping there in the back of a team truck out there because I had nowhere to stay, and I loved every second of that. That was my first taste of road racing, and I loved every second of it. I thought it was brilliant. I stood at the top of Bray Hill and watched the bikes come past at 180, 190 mile an hour, and thought, this is absolutely insane. And this is
a month later, you decided to try your hand down here on the national.
And well, that was it. It was after the TT. Then it wasn't long after that I thought, how can I get onto the roads? What's the way forward? And obviously everybody sees that as going to the Irish roads beforehand. So I managed a team long shot racing give me a shot on a ZX6 on the Irish roads, and I managed to go out and do a few races at the end of 2017.
And then the last road race of the season in 2017, the East Coast Racing Festival. You rode with John Burrows on the Burrows engineering bikes, and that kind of, I suppose, that was kind of the starting point for you in road racing, because you really the relationship you built up with John, and like what you did the following year at the TT and whatnot. It kind of you kind of set your mark then in the sport.
Yeah, absolutely. It was great. Actually, John says it was from Skerries that he first noticed me, and I come onto the scene. Obviously nobody knew who I was, and I'd never done any road racing before, and I think finished in 4th place in the grand final, which is obviously for 1000cc superbikes, and I was just riding a 600, so it was a good result in my first one. And obviously John says he spotted me since then, and managed to get talking a little bit later in the year, and he offered me a ride on one of his Super Twin bikes for the East Coast Festival, and then actually ended up being on a 1000cc as well, which it ended up not doing any racing at all because of the bad weather, but we got some good practice and qualifying sessions, and obviously I did enough to impress him for the following year and get on his bikes, which are brilliant prepared. I think John's got the best setup on the Irish roads, and some great people in the team. John included himself. They run an amazing outfit, and those guys took me to my first TT, first Northwest 200, full national road season, and it was a great year then in 2018 with those guys.
As you said just there, like, it was a brilliant year. Like, you were basically the fastest newcomer everywhere you went, and you were a newcomer you were a newcomer at all the internationals bar the Ulster, was it?
Yeah, it was only the Ulster that I'd done the year before with a long shot team, but and then obviously, as you say, Skerries, Armoy, and Killane that I did the year before as well. But everywhere else, complete newcomer.
What was it like going to the TT? And I think I read somewhere at the time that you were kind of only just going to learn the place, and then you come out as the second fastest newcomer to ever go to the Isle of Man TT. What was it like, I suppose, achieving that on the first year going? Like,
It was honestly incredible. I had no intention of going there and doing anything special. It takes years to learn the place, and ever since I went there in 2017, that was obviously the ultimate goal to go there and race. But I knew it was going to be a long road to learn the circuit and put my hours in around the circuit. So from then on, I started learning the circuit, and for the next 12 months until the TT in 2018, when I raced there, I was trying to learn the circuit. I went over there maybe 10 or more times, just drove around in a car. I watched videos every day. I played the game, the Isle of Man TT game, like nearly every day, trying to learn everything I could, learn it as best as I could. And, it's with it being so dangerous, you can't go there thinking I'm going to set the world on fire. I want to do an amazing lap time. You just got to take it step by step, let the speed come to you, and not do anything silly. Just the speed. The speed come. I never pushed hard. I never took any risks, and still did that lap time. And it should have been. It was so close to being the fastest ever behind Hickey. There was yellow flags right the way through a session. Another bike had spilled oil on the first lap of the race, and it was there for the full duration of the race. So it would have been a bunch quicker as well, and that was just taking it really easy. So it set us up for a good year, I guess.
And then, of course, if we were to go through every little nitty gritty bit that you've achieved since then, we would be here all evening. So a little bit. But last year was your first year with the Malenko team, and you were just solely doing the internationals. So what was it kind of like? Did you find a difference in kind of being able to dedicate like your time towards just the likes of the Northwest, the TT, and the Ulster? Would it just be the internationals instead of having all the nationals? Did you kind of find it was more beneficial that you were getting more out of yourself when you were going then, that you didn't have to do as many as the year before?
Well, no, to be honest, I did pretty much the same amount as I did the year before, because instead of the nationals, I did the International Road Race Championship, which is all in Europe. So ended up doing that with the Pens 13 team from Germany. So I did all the European stuff, which actually entailed a lot more traveling, as it were, but still it was a good experience doing something new again. Spend a full year as a newcomer at all those races, but then as you say, I think the focus was more on the international big roads, the Northwest, the Ulster, the TT. So it was nice to focus on them and have the Paget's 600 machinery as well, which are unbelievable bikes. So it was
I suppose kind of I know I touched on it a little bit at the start, but with the road race season this year kind of been a bit of a washout. Bar Cup tender this weekend. But for next year then with the Honda team, yourself and Glenn are obviously on the roads. So what's the plan, I suppose, for next year? Are you just going to keep trying improving, or have you kind of thought far ahead?
In all honesty, I can't say too much. There's nothing set in stone as of yet for next year. Of course, we'd like to carry on and keep doing what we're doing. I for sure would with a team, having raced a few times now on the short circuits with the Honda team. They're an amazing bunch of guys that really know what they're doing, and the new Fireblade's an awesome bike as well, and I think could be really suited to the roads. So hopefully we go ahead and carry on next year, but we'll have to wait and see with that. But for sure that would be the goal for me, to just improve on what I've done so far. I've had 2 years at the TT now, and 131.5 mile an hour lap at the TT last year, and that was with a pretty terrible 2 weeks what we had weather-wise and everything. So I know I've got so much more in me than that, and with an awesome team behind me, awesome bike, I think for sure a lot of progress is in the making. So I guess we'll just have to wait and see how we get on.
Well, wait and see, and hopefully, as you say, a good year next year for yourself on the roads. And best of luck with the rest of the Superstock Championship over. Is it Open Park this weekend?
It is Alton Park, yeah.
Well, very best of luck, and thank you very much for coming on and doing this. And yeah, best of luck. Well, I've already said that. So. Bye.
No problem. Thanks.